Yeah, I got you with the intro. What's up? We're the Scarabs. Let's go.
Yo, yeah, what up? Jithens wants to know, for each of you three, who would you consider your rival player in the league? Inbound, we'll start with you.
I guess mine would have to be Jake because we kind of came in at the same time, and he peaked a lot faster, a lot harder than I did, and I think my peak's coming a little bit later. So I'd say Jake.
Maybe Johnny because he came in as a rookie as me. I don't know. I really Panatah maybe because we've had sets before when I was not in the SPL but in the SML. Panatah or Johnny would be my answer.
That's a very hard question for for just entering the league because I mean, it's not like for me personally. I don't have a lot of history like with mid laners. I mean, I guess Sheen. I mean, it had to be Shinto. I guess is like the first one that comes to mind.
Lucas Townsend wants to know, and this is a two-parter for you. Scarab members, your favorite gods in your role, and if you had to swap to a different role, what would it be?
So favorite god would have to be either Hebo or Janus. We'll just say Janus because of recency bias, I guess. And then for role swap, all I'm saying is Layers is very lucky. I didn't continue out throughout my dude, come on. Think of the old days when I jungled against you.
Yeah, when I was like a noob.
I was a noob too, and I was just a better noob. It's just what it was. Nah, but I think it would be
players. Shaking my head.
I think it would be jungle. I have to say jungle because that's that was my starting role.
My most favorite character is Thor by a mile. I just have a lot of history on that character. And if I were to switch roles, it would be mid because this Boronic guy, oh my god, it is too easy, man. I would literally just hit everything in mid, and I'd be the next Gene. I would literally be the next Shinto. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, it's just that simple.
To be honest, like everyone is lucky that I haven't chosen a different role other than support. So, but I'd probably choose solo. I just think solo is so much more fun than like the 1v1 is just a lot of fun. Blue Stone is fun to have like back in the meta. It's just fun being able to like create your own little thing over in solo because I think solo kind of has like the most variability in possible played things. So I don't know. I think solo. And then my favorite god is Terra in support.
They want to know, NPS Eliond wants to know, why is Kukulkan support not picked? Is it the god, or is it just that mage supports in general don't work well?
It's the god. The god is so bad. Don't play it any role, not even mid.
It feels like I'm playing Cuckoo support when I play it mid. It doesn't feel like I'm a mid.
Just hang back, throw out a tornado, hope for the best,
Yeah.
and maybe somebody will set up for your ult. GGJ is wondering what your thoughts are on this season's map. Specifically, is it easier for team fighting, or is it a little harder to get the team fights going than last season? And Inbound, I mean, since you got to jump into the SPL last season, now you've kind of experienced them both. What do you think?
I feel like this one, I don't know. I don't feel like it's changed too much. I think last year's team fighting might have been a little bit easier just because the map was a bit smaller. You couldn't spread the map as much. You couldn't, or you could like respond to a play easier last season. But I don't think it's really that much at all. But I would say last season.
I think it's easier now for mostly global characters in jungle. Like it's easy to kind of like start fights because you have a lot more space in the jungle and you're not like as close to side lanes, so you can't really like side laners can't really hear your ult as easy. So it's just like I think it's a lot easier to look for fights in general, yeah, in this jungle compared to the last one.
Well, I think the obvious one for mid is I think like both mid camps you're way more susceptible than, especially with the mid camp change that they did for last season, where it was like enclosed in the middle. You're like way more susceptible to dying or at risk. So I don't know. Besides that, mid doesn't feel too different. I mean, I guess like Layers said, global characters feel nicer. Besides that, I mean, I don't think it's that much of a difference as a mid
It's
laner.
just a lot bigger. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Yoshi Yahoo wants to know, of all the previous metas in Smite history, which was your favorite? And is there one of those that you would like to see return?
Yeah. All right. Mine is. I like this meta a lot. I think, for the most part, the meta is the gods played, the gods viable, starters viable. I think right now is, in my opinion, I've only played since season like 3 actually playing Smite, but I think this is the most fun meta that Smite's had since I played. So, and I really don't think it's that close. I think Blessings last year and the years prior were terrible. I didn't like them at all. And now that they brought starters back and then they brought upgrades of them, I think it's like a lot more fun.
Currently, I really like this meta that we're in. I really like the Eye of the Jungle, and I really like Boomba's Hammer. Those are like 2 of my favorite items now. The upgrade into like Boomba's, like I said, Boomba's Hammer is like super solid late, and then the Protector of the Jungle is just nasty. It's a great item. A past meta I like was, I think it was a double starter or double. I think it was double. Yeah, you go like Bluestone. It was like old Bluestone, and you had old Boomba's mask. I think it was like 800 and 500 gold, and that was like maybe season 2 or season 3, maybe. That was like on the old map, but that was really fun for junglers. Junglers are really strong early game because they had the double starter.
I don't necessarily think of a clear favorite, but I know for sure it wasn't the meta where the game literally was dependent on support, jungle, and solo, like 3v3ing level 1, and like I'm just watching and like the game's over before I could even do anything. And then I believe that same meta, I think it was season, was it 3 or 4? I can't remember, but I believe we were also at the same time starved for farm, or maybe not. But I mean, I gotta go with these 2 answers. Like the meta right now is actually like really fun. I think it's one of the like most fun I've had in any Smite meta before. So
Hotshot wants to know specifically, where do you guys see yourselves at the end of the year in the standings? And I had actually just said this, but if you keep playing the way that you did against the Dragons, I'd easily have you as a top 2 team because you looked so clean yesterday. But more so for you guys, where do you see yourselves going? Like as far as the year goes on, there's phase 2, phase 3. Once the year ends, where do you think you'll be inbound? Do you have any specific thoughts on the standings?
I mean, we're gonna be number 1, maybe by 3rd phase. Maybe it takes us into the 4th phase because I think the Leviathans are a super clean team, and I think the Kings are super clean right now too. So maybe it takes us a little bit longer, but in no doubt in my mind that I don't think we're gonna end this season at the top.
If not top, I think we're going to be a top 3, top 4 team easily. When we're only getting better each week. As you guys can see, we beat the Dragons, which is like they're a great team. Compared to like our last sets, we look night and day, completely different. It's just we take it a week by week, day by day, and just improve steadily. It was our whole game plan this year, and I think we're really hitting our stride. So.
No, yeah, as long as we don't get ahead of ourselves over, one set. I know it was like a really big set for us, but it is one set at the beginning of the year. Although it was like the Dragons, top 2 standout team, we still have to keep moving forward and progressing as a team. Because we still have plenty to work on. So I expect nothing short of at least top 3, top 4.
Vixen wants to know, were you excited when you found out your assigned team name? And is there another one that you maybe had wished you had gotten? Like, so are you at this point wholly sold on the Scarabs? Or is there another one that you're kind of thinking, man, I wish we could have been, I don't know, the Warriors, the Titans, etc.? Inbound, I mean, you've got the Scarabs merch on. I can't imagine you have any thoughts other than to be a bug boy.
I think off the rip, maybe there was another team that I wanted, but my girlfriend loves the Scarabs, and she heard the name. She was like, "You better get that one." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna hope we get this one." So like this one was like a big one. I like playing Kepri too, and then like the name is like a little bit memey too, so it's got like extra potential there too. So like at this point, I'm sold on the Scarabs. I love the Scarab name, and I'm committed to it the rest of the year and whatever after. But yeah, now I'm happy we have it.
I was really skeptical at first when we got the Scarabs. I really like it now, obviously. At first I wanted really any other name was my like big thing. I was kind of like depressed almost at first. And now I see like the potential that the team name has, like the meme potential. I think we lucked out. I think we got one of the best names in the league, and I like our colorway too.
And
I think we have a
jerseys
really
too.
colorful-
Yeah, our jerseys turned
Our
out
colorway is
really
pretty
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, exact same boat as them. I feel like initially, whatever. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care what I was playing under. You know, I would just not show up to play it. But, yeah, it's like really grown on me too. So,
5Z wants to know, who is the best cook out of you lot? Now, Inbound, I'm going to go to you, but only because I know you just recently cooked a meal, and I'm going to add something to 5Z's question here. You cooked prior to a big win. Are you going to start cooking a lot more often, and do you think you're the best cook?
It's just not a fair question because these two don't cook. I don't think
easy.
Slaney cooks. I don't think I assume Zap doesn't cook, so it's literally just me. And I'm not even a good cook, but I'm just better than everyone else. So it's me, and I don't know. It's so much time to cook, and I am a lazy person a lot of the time. So maybe we try it against the Leviathans, and if it works, maybe I guess I'll have to commit to it and do it every night before.
There you go. Now Tom, who's Tom DeBomb, wants to know that if y'all weren't playing or streaming Smite, what would you be doing? Where would you go, I guess career and path-wise? And I mean, for a lot of you, this is going to be a difficult task. You've been playing Smite since before you could make some of those decisions. Inbound, do you think you'd be doing, like, where do you think you'd be?
I mean, the thing is I went to school. I was in my first year of college, and I like fully committed to Smite, and I dropped out because I was just too into Smite, too committed to Smite. So I mean, I guess if I just never like had heard of Smite or had never like fully committed to it like I did, I'd just be, I don't know, I guess I'd be out of school. But the big problem I had was I just had no passion for any like line of work. I just didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't have like a thought. So if I didn't have Smite, I would have just had to take a guess on what I wanted to do for college and then just commit to it. So I'd probably be working some terrible 9 to 5 somewhere.
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think, I've been playing Smite since literally, committed, I'd say, to competitive and given it my all since I was like 15, 16. Before, I've literally basically have never worked a job besides like earning money off Smite to this point. But I think the main thing, before Smite and everything, I was very committed to baseball. I played baseball, so going to college, I definitely wanted to. Honestly, anything competitive for me. Obviously, I had a dream of being a professional baseball player. I got injured like my freshman year. That's when it kind of transitioned to gaming focused or competitive gaming. So I don't know, it's hard to see or to think of what I would be doing right now if it weren't for Smite. I'd say maybe either going into what my father does, which is what is it? I always forget. It has to do with whatever my dad's field of work is. I think that would either that or some type of business degree, that route. But I don't know, just growing up I was always such a competitive or had a competitive mindset, so it'd be hard not to do something in that aspect.
I had a career path. I went to trade school and I was doing HVAC. I was kind of committed to doing HVAC, which is aviation work and working on cooling and heating and stuff. And if I didn't go into Smite, I probably would have done a work study. They do 3 days of work and then two days you go to college, and that would have been probably a 3-year deal until I got a master's degree in HVAC, and that's probably where I would have been if it wasn't for Smite.
Well, now Avon Daughtry wants to know, at what point do you think you have to completely ignore spicy picks and gameplay in order to get to the basics of competitive play? And is that something that y'all as a new team are focused on? I guess just getting the basics under wraps before pulling out things like an Artemis like we saw as you play, well, I guess not you play against the Dragons, but played against you by the Dragons. I mean, Inbound, you had mentioned Terra's your favorite god. Are you starting to get to the point where maybe you're thinking about spicy picks, or are you still just holding on to the basics?
I think Smite as a game hasn't really developed to a point that picks are really all that spicy. You have a hunter in ADC, or a hunter in duo, a support, a guardian in duo, maybe sometimes a warrior, mage mid, assassin / warrior jungle, and then a warrior in solo. So, like, the difference between playing an Artemis and playing a Heim is not all that great. I think spicy picks really come down to when you're playing like super weird stuff, like maybe an assassin mid or a hunter support, something where it really just changes how your comp plays. So I just think of spicy as not as learned about in Smite. Smite hasn't really gotten to that point where spicy picks are played. So we've been playing spicy picks, if you consider like just not top tier god spicy, because it doesn't change how you really play, and it doesn't really change that much. It's just you getting focused on what your job is with that god or whatever.
I think I was kind of a pioneer for a couple picks in the jungle. I picked Guan originally when no one thought he was good. Also picked, well, Bobby kind of let me in on the Guan. Bobby's like, you can max it 2 in jungle and it's OP. And I'm like, okay, let me try it. And then we were like dominating. So I was like, all right, we'll just roll with this. I also picked Thor back when he was buffed and no one picked him, and everyone just thought he was complete garbage. I still think that Thor didn't really need a buff. I thought if you're piloting him, you're like, the Thor player is going to be as good as the player, right? Like, if the player's popping off, then Thor's going to do well. And I thought, like, that's why I really liked Thor, because I thought Thor had a high ceiling. I really pick anything for my team. If whatever the team thinks is best, or well, they try to stop me from doing that now. They want me to pick for myself more recently, but I'm open to anything in the jungle really. And spicy picks, I'm down for whatever most of the time. So
I think for now, we're sticking to the basics, obviously, as a new team, but I always give a lot of recommendations on, or like I always praise like the potential of like assassins, or basically mostly assassins. I know these two, like we've actually experimented, like even before our hype unit LAN at regionals or the worlds qualifiers. We were even playing like Guardians mid that we didn't end up whipping out like eventually, but it was like it actually worked. Like we had good strats around it. So I think mid is yeah,
dominating.
I think mid is the place to do it for the most part, or like mid or jungle. I think are the most interchangeable. Maybe solo, but yeah.
Salt MK1 wants to know, what gods do y'all want to see get a bug skin? So, obviously Khepri is an easy choice for that one, so maybe we can go ahead and take him off the table and see who else do you think would be really good for a Solar Scarabs skin. You know what? Players, will jump to you first.
Ooh, maybe Set? Because when Set goes in his ult, he gets like the spikes out of his back, and I feel like maybe you could like have like a beetle, like you'd have like beetle wings, you know what I mean, when he goes in his ult.
Oh yeah,
that could be sick. But besides Set, maybe like I'm like off the top of my head, I don't really think of any. Like Thor, maybe, I don't know, when he lands as like a big Solar Scarab beetle for his like global ult. I don't know, just something that I just like junglers that I like playing, so I really don't know. Besides those two, I don't know.
Whatever you play, just make sure that one has the skin, and you'll be
yeah,
fine,
make
right?
sure that yeah, for sure.
If you want to fit the theme of the Scarabs, I don't know why like this god popped into my head, but I think of like Anubis, like it'd work maybe well with his the Plague Locust or whatever. I don't know. Maybe you can get some special effects for that going, but
choose some little beetles.
Yeah. Or I don't know. I'm not too creative in that, so I honestly have no idea. Anubis,
well,
I guess, is my pick.
Yeah, Anubis there for Boronic. Inbound, I saw you kind of shake your head when Set came up there for layers. Did you have somebody else in mind completely?
No, I just thought his idea was good, and it was better than anything that came to my mind. I'm not creative in that. Like, even thinking, I had like 2 minutes. I had 2 minutes to think, and I still couldn't think of anything. Praying Mantis Sylvanas. I don't know. That's all I got.
It's not bad.
Going back, Vixen comes back again with another one. The favorite pregame fuel, like if you have any brain food that you eat before your match. Inbound, like, I guess we kind of talked about the cooks. Oh yeah, Boronic, what do you eat prior?
It's just coffee. Literally just coffee. Yes. At least 2 to 3 cups before a game. That's all I need.
Sometimes I don't eat because I get a little anxious before games, and I feel like if I do eat, it'll upset my stomach. Other times it's either a bottle of water or like something like nutritional, or like a protein bar. I like protein bars before games. Those are like because they're loaded with energy. So either of those, just water and a protein bar would probably be my snack combo.
I don't eat because I fast before our game, so I'm not eating until like after our set. Usually just like water, coffee, and then I'm good.
So Andrew, he wants to know, other than Smite and gaming, what sort of hobbies do you partake in? So what do you guys like to do when you're not playing Smite, when you're not scrimming? Inbound, I know you've got a whole slew of things that I see you doing. What's maybe your favorite couple of hobbies?
Probably lifting. I like lifting a lot, and I like collecting Pokemon cards. I don't know. Not a lot of things interest me that are like traditional, like I don't know, gardening or like traditional hobbies. I don't really like. I like collecting stuff. I like, and then I like lifting. And I like getting big. That's about it. And gaming.
Me and my dad love to watch sports together. That's probably our biggest thing. I've been going to. I haven't really been hitting the gym too often recently because of COVID. When I get fully vaxxed, I'm probably gonna get back to it. And when I get down to Atlanta, me and Bobby might start lifting. So definitely probably sports with my father is the biggest thing. We watch everything. We watch hockey, basketball, baseball, horse racing because he loves betting on horses too. Even though it's not really particularly fun to watch. We're just a big sports guys, for sure. That's our biggest thing.
I think like what Bobby said, it's hard to have I don't really have like that deep passion for like much else. I'd say like sports is right down there, obviously, since I've been playing them my whole life until I started committed to the gaming thing. So I mean, it would be like sports, and as of recent, at least when I'm actually consistently doing it, lifting is very fast, very fastly like becoming, I guess a passion of mine, because it just gets you in the right mindset too, I feel.
Mon Jilton asked, if you were a football team, what positions would you play? And then he added, obviously Bobby would be the water boy, but the rest of you. So now Inbound, I'm gonna go immediately to you. Would you? Why does he think you'd be the water boy? And what position do you actually think you'd play?
I think it's because of the movie, Bobby Boucher, the water boy. I think that's the only reason I can think of.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when we do throw the football around, I guess I'd have to be the quarterback. As
definitely not me.
Boronic is not the quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'd be quarterback. We'd have Zap at receiver, Slaney at lineman because he's our biggest player, Layers tight end, and Boronic another wide receiver. It seems. There we go.
Either me or Bobby would be the quarterback because I just see in jungle like compared to like the quarterback role in football, they're like kind of like the facilitator. Like every play kind of goes through them, especially for quarterback. But in jungle, it's kind of the same thing. Like jungle, usually there's a lot of facilitation going through in the jungle. And
you throw a ball.
I guess that's like the two biggest thing. Yes, I can throw a ball. What do I look like? Of course I can throw a ball.
Baskin.
Are you serious? Come on now.
Vixen wants to know, again, coming back to Vixen, who's got the best dance moves out of everyone on the Scarabs? I mean, do any of you partake in dancing, or are you very much in the same? I saw immediately Layers and Inbound shaking their head. Boronic, what about you?
Have you seen Bobby do the WAP? I mean, how could it not? Like,
it was so bad.
I think he takes the cake for that.
It's gotta be Zap. It's gotta be Zap. I feel like Zap on a dance floor is.
Oh yeah, actually
fluid.
Zap. Yeah, I could see Zap being the best, 100%. It's definitely not any of us, I feel.
5Z again wants to know, who trolls the most in scrims? And Bobby, I don't know why they keep targeting you out, but the last half of this question is, and why is it Bobby? I doubt it's you. Definitely from the vibe I'm getting, you seem to be the one who's maybe trying to wrangle everybody else in. Who do you think, Bobby, is the person who trolls the most in scrims?
I think it's a 50-50. It's either SOT or Zap. And I don't think it's really close. I think our core is pretty, this is our goal, this is what we're going to do. But like Zap just shuts off his brain every once in a while and just goes fight a 1v3 in their jungle, or SOT also. Like, it's just those side laners, man. They just have these egos, and you just gotta kind of like bring them back in.
I got a hard agree on the side lanes. It's game to game. Sometimes SOT will get fire and we'll be ahead, and he'll be at their speed buff doing nothing and then trying to kill the other jungler, and he gets 1v4 and he dies. And then Zap will be like, "SOT, what is that? Like, what are you doing?" And then like the next game, like Zap will be just like looking for any duel possible, and in comp, like there's no such thing as a 1v1. If the other ADC is playing up, that means
he'll go for another wave. If I die, that's life.
If I die, that's life. We'll give him a big lead, and he'll be like, "I need one more wave." And each time he says it, I know he's gonna die because he's Zap. Of course he's gonna die on an extra wave. He goes to get the extra wave, and he gets killed. He's like, "Well, it is what it is, boys." So definitely the side lanes.
I mean, maybe Bobby right under that, but like.
Wait, what about layers and picks and bans? When we were like, "Yo, layers, what do you think looks good
Oh
here?"
wait, if we're talking about pre-game.
Wait, what?
If we're talking about pre-game, I think layers.
Definitely layers.
Right on top of the leaderboard.
Once we get in a game, he focuses.
Once we're in game, though, he's good.
Well, Logical wants to know, what is the team environment like on this team compared to past teams? I mean, you three specifically have played together on teams before, or on a team before, but Inbound, I mean, being able to go to you first for this one, after Obey last year for SBL coming into this, what's the team environment like in comparison?
I think last year was a bit different because we had a couple guys that were a bit more, I don't want to say hard-headed, but they kind of always thought what they thought was right. And on our team, it's basically, if it comes down to it, usually it's Zap, but if one of us is hard-headed enough, usually me, I'll argue with it. So it's mostly just, it feels better kind of arguing on this team because there's usually like an end result. I feel like on last year's team, we kind of sometimes we just have to end the argument because nobody would see, or somebody would see eye to eye with someone else. But then like out of game, I feel like we kind of get along a lot, and we kind of like hang it out a lot with each other outside of game on this team. Last year we didn't hang out a ton. Occasionally we would. But yeah, it's just a lot more often we hang out on this team.
I think for every team that I try to be on, I try to have fun. And the way when I play games, I'm playing for fun. Like the whole part of the SPL is me trying to play it. I'm just literally just trying to have fun with the boys. Like, of course, winning is like the biggest thing, but for games, like games are meant to be fun. I don't try to get, before I would, when I was younger, I'd get like really mad at my teammates and stuff would not go right. I think a lot, and like now, I think I'm really mature when it comes to like if something bad happens in a game, I don't like get into their butts about it. I don't try to put someone down. Like if someone's having a bad game, I don't really do that. I think I'm pretty positive when it comes to like stuff like that. And I think like having a positive atmosphere too. Like of course, like each team argues about plays, but having like a good end result and like learning from the bad play is like the biggest thing. So I think that's like our whole thing is that we try to get along and mesh.
I think it's, between the core, it's very similar, but I think the biggest difference on this team is, everyone, I guess, humbling themselves and taking as much advice from, Zap as possible. And then now I think, transitioning to more of like, a flow throughout the whole team to where we're just not all listening to like Zap, like pounding in on us, like, giving us endless criticism and stuff, which, obviously he still does, but yeah, I think the sponges, right? Like just taking in as much info as possible, and now we can like, start making use of it. And I think it's going back to a similar vibe as like, our old hype team, to where it's just like a constant flow of info throughout the whole team. Yeah. I think it's, kind of transitioning similar to that. So
Purple Khaki wants to know, what is the Scarabs theme song? Now, there's not been a lot of work come out of here. I think, and forgive me, I know this is a Scarabs video, but the only team I got to successfully sing was the Bolts, and it was Lasber going, Bolts, 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 and nobody joined in. Do you guys have a theme song in mind for the Scarabs, or is there no chance that I'm going to get you to sing here?
I think like the first thing that comes to mind is on old hype we'd always blast like the League of Legends like intro or the world songs. So like maybe one of those, like the Rise maybe. That'd be my pick. That'd be a cool intro or theme song for us.
Well, I'm not singing.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna have our own rendition of a song.
Unless
so.
Layers, take it away.
I'm good, man. I gotta say, I'm good. I'm feeling,
Zaza wants to know, and you guys can just drop one word. You can explain yourselves if you want as well. What do you think the most underrated item is in Smite?
I think I'll say tank boots because they are broken, and if you are playing support and not buying tank boots, you're trolling. And too many people don't buy tank boots in support. Buy tank boots.
This has been a PSA.
I think for me it'd be E-Staff for mages. It's just the item is still super good, but it's just so hard to fit in your build, I think, nowadays. Especially with, you know, item upgrades taking a slot, or starter upgrades. So I think Ether Staff has kind of gone under the radar, but it's such a good item still.
I think maybe the most underrated for jungle would either be Relic Dagger or Wingblade. On certain characters like Erlang and stuff like that, where they get like their transformation slowed, like I feel like Wingblade is like a really good core item. I know on supports like Wingblade is like really highly bought, but I think utility for the jungle is not really like sought after as much. A lot of people like going hybrid and they go like full damage and stuff like that, which is fine. But utility items are nice. I would also say like maybe Magi's Cloak for certain junglers that don't have CC immunity. It's like pretty underrated. You don't really see that item often, but it's a really good item and bought like into the right scenario. So
Gankaruni wants to know, will we see a role swap between Layers and Zapman for one game going up against the Bolts? So it's very specific, one game against the Bolts, and it's just because #Zungle. That is included in the tweet. Layers, I'll go straight to you on that one. I think everybody else is going to say no, but I guess you get to choose. Would you give up your role to let Zapman play it just once against the Bolts? That face has 1,000 words behind it.
I think I'm a better ADC than Zap, so I could play ADC, but I don't think he's a good jungle. So I think it would be a bad trade for sure. I could play Apollo. I'm like the best Apollo. I'm literally the best Apollo in the world. So besides that, yeah.
I can't tell if you're shaking your head because you don't agree that Layers is the best Apollo, or if you just don't agree with all of it. You want all of it to go away. You don't want this trade swap. You don't want anybody.
Since he started talking, I've just been like, nope, wrong, nope. I'm not laning with Layers.
My impact.
That sounds like the
my
worst.
impact is too big in jungle for me to swap, and plus Zap can only play like 2 characters in the jungle, so probably ban him out and we just lose.
You'd also get impacted by this. Like, you know, Layers is going to spend the most time, I guess, near your lane. If Zapman was in the jungle, would you be able to handle it? Would you think as a 2v2 combo before inbound comes over, you'd be able to get a lot of progress made?
I don't think there's any preparation for that, to be honest. I don't know. It's just going to be full of surprises at that point.
Make sure you guys buy our avatar and ward skin in game. Check out our merch at the Smite Pro League merch store, and check out me on Twitch and YouTube, youtube.com/inbound and twitch.tv/inbound.
The ladies of Smite are doing a fundraising stream. I'm going to be a part of it. Neil Ma's going to be a part of it. Paul's going to be a part of it. I think there's someone else, a really big name, that are going to be a part of that stream. We're trying to fundraise for a girl trying to finish school and she can't afford it, and she needs a little bit more money to, like, you know, make ends meet. So that's like the whole point of that. And we're going to be doing casuals, customs, and all that stuff. So they're really cool. Make sure you check them out. I think it's like Ladies of Smite or LOS on Twitter. Those guys or those girls, my fault. Those girls, and there's a couple guys, because guys are participating, myself included, in that event. So make sure you guys check that out.
For me, I think everything Bobby said, you know, I thank you for everyone that's, you know, stuck by us and supported us even through, you know, the rough start, and, you know, expect more of this from us. You can follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Boronic. I'm gonna start, hopefully, getting those streams in more consistently. And yeah, just thank you again.